Ito si Dr. Nindita Padilla. Ang pag-uusapan naman natin ngayon, what we will talk about is how to actually conduct the barangay screening and testing in your barangay using the rapid test kits to test for antibodies at in cooperation with or complementary to yung PCR na naghahanap ng virus. Napag-usapan na natin ito ng mga nakaraang video. But now it's the actual conduct of the test. Okay, so this testing will be targeted sampling. Not everybody in the barangay will be tested. Hindi lahat ng tao sa barangay ay iti-test. No? So, who will be tested? No? Okay, the following. Ito yung mga iti-test. No? Okay. Those who have symptoms. Kung may sintomas kayo, ano yung mga symptoms? No? Dry cough, persistent fever, sore throat, muscle pain, weakness, and often they complain also of a decreased ability to smell or decreased ability to taste. Sometimes there's diarrhea, and of course some difficulty breathing. No? As soon as difficulty breathing occurs with a fever, think COVID unless proven otherwise. So we will of course test those who are symptomatic. Those who are symptomatic or asymptomatic, meaning may sintomas o wala, who are frontliners such as healthcare workers, persons who have jobs that are considered important to restart the economy. Which are these, or who are these? Factory workers, those involved in service such as bank employees, telecommunications, electricity, etc. Yung mga taong kailangan para gumana ang ating ekonomiya at ang ating mga buhay. No? Yun, ito-test rin sila. They will be tested. Who else will be tested? Symptomatic or asymptomatic persons who have close contact with COVID-confirmed patients. Meaning, yung mga pamilya, kamag-anak, asawa, ng mga pasyenteng talagang confirmed COVID. May sintomas man o wala, they will be tested. Tapos, symptomatic or asymptomatic persons who have close contact with patients who are probable COVID awaiting results. Okay, yung mga taong may sintomas o wala man na may close contact sa mga taong naghihintay lang ng test results na tinatawag na probable COVID. Tapos, also those who are high risk, okay, kahit walang sintomas. For example, mga seniors na medyo mahina na, yung mga those with comorbidities like diabetes mellitus, hypertension, mga sakit sa bato, chronic renal disease, lung disease, cancer, patients on treatment, those who are grossly obese, yung masyadong matataba, because it has been found, particularly in England, that these grossly obese patients are also prone to developing severe COVID, and they need critical care. And it's a risk factor for serious COVID. Okay, also those on immunosuppressive drugs. So these are the patients we're going to test. Hindi ho lahat ita-test, no? It's targeted testing. Kung wala kayong sintomas, you were never exposed, you have no problems, no? You're not high risk, there's no need to test you. Okay? Now, so what do we need now? The barangay will arrange this event, no? Merong mga organizers who will oversee it. Now, but the basic requirements is what I'm going to discuss today. You will need a team to do the test, no? You will need a team of at least one doctor, at least one nurse, maybe a med tech para tulungan yung doktor to help the doctor, and people who can sort of keep order in the area which is going to be used as a testing area. The testing area should be big enough so that people can keep safe physical distancing. All those who will be doing the tests and closely interacting with the patients have to use protective personal equipment, and I will explain this later. Those who are just in the room should just use, of course, the mask and also practice safe distancing. Okay? Now, what are these equipment I'm talking about? So, ideally, of course, I'm not wearing it now, but you should be wearing a gown. Okay? Aside from the gown, what else should I be wearing? I should be wearing a mask, an N95 mask. I should be wearing a cap over my head. I should also be wearing gloves. The gloves don't have to be sterile, just clean. Okay? Then, I can either wear a face shield or goggles, but better a face shield because it protects a bigger part of your face, including your eyes, your mouth, your nose, although you'll be wearing a mask. So if I'm the one dealing with the patients, taking the blood, doing the physical exam, doing the history taking, I should wear an N95 mask. If I'm just in the area, getting the people in order, I don't have to wear an N95 mask, although ideally maybe better because you don't know who among the people there are actually infected. Okay? Okay. So, now, you also need, because you're going to do finger pricks, you need alcohol swabs, either a swab or simple cotton balls and alcohol. Simple lang. No? You also need a lancet to prick the finger. It can be just a manual lancet or you can have an automated lancet. Hindi kailangan ng automated, pwedeng yung manual lancet lang. And then, you also have a need, of course, your kit, yung testing kit. Later on, I will show you a close-up and actually show you how to do the test and then how to interpret the test. So, basically, of course, in the room, you will also need data gathering and recording equipment. It can be manual recording or it can be automated recording. You will be given a guide or a piece of paper to show you the basic data that you need for the patients. No? May mga data na kailangan natin sa mga pasyente na basic. For example, pangalan, edad, may sintomas, wala, parang checklist. This will be given to you. Ibibigay ito sa inyo. Kailangan ninyo ng mga disinfectants para sa kamay, soap and water, and you need a disposable bins. In other words, mga basurahan kung saan pwedeng itapon yung mga infectious waste at yung mga matutulis na bagay. Okay? Sharps and infectious waste. So that's basic. So it can be done in any barangay center, no? As long as you have all of these. But always there has to be a doctor. Kailangan may doktor. Bakit? In order to interpret the results and to counsel the people who have the test. Because you have to know how to relate the test results to the actual person, to the clinical signs and symptoms of the person and the history. So that's what we need. Now we will go to the actual testing. Ito po yung laman ng balot ng rapid test kit. Ito yung cartridge, no? Okay. May makikita ko yung well dyan, dalawang well. Ito para lalagyan mo ng dugo or ng serum, no? Ito, lalagyan ng dugo or serum. Ito naman yung buffer, no? Part of the kit ko yun. Tapos may isang blue line dun sa taas, yun ang control line. At the end of the test ko, dapat maging pula yan. Kung hindi siya maging pula, ibig sabihin, hindi valid yung test. Kailangan ulitin at palpak yung pagka-test. No? Hindi mo magagamit ang results. Okay? So, gagawin naman natin ngayon. So alcohol ho, no? Tapos, squeeze ng konti para bumabaho yung dugo doon sa area na gusto nyo punan, no? Pwede kong gumamit ng regular lancet o pwede itong automated, no? Kasi hindi naman lahat may automated, no? Okay? Relax na ho. Tapos, lalabas yung dugo. Konti pa para sigurado. Tapos, lalagyan mo natin ng buffer. Dalawang drop ng buffer. Tapos, maghihintay tayo. No? Mamaya-maya, may makikita ko kayo diyang fluid na umakyat. Sana umakit na siya. Tagal. Ayun na. Unti-unting umaakit itong parang fluid, no? Okay. Immunochromatography ho ito. So, aabot yan hanggang sa dulo. Tapos itong blue line na yan, dapat maging red. Para ibig sabihin nun, ang inyong test ay valid. No? Pwede nyong gamitin yung resulta. Kasi kung hindi siya maging red, hindi pwedeng gamitin ang resulta. Tingnan natin, sana maging red siya. Ayan, nagiging red na. No? Okay. So far, mukhang negative rin ang ating pasyente. So, itong IgM ay walang linya. Itong IgG ay walang linya. No? Kung mayroon kayong COVID at acute, no? Mayroon kayong lagnat at siguro 3 days ago kayo nadapuan, dapat yan magiging may linya rin red. No? Kunyari, pagaling na kayo at karoon kayo noon, tapos hindi nyo alam, pwede rin natin malaman. No? Magkakaroon ng red line itong G. Yung video, kasi I'll send it also to
Kita mo, nag-spread siyang gano'n. No?
Tapos, it has to reach that blue line. The blue line has to become red to make it valid. If it's not valid, yeah. If the control doesn't turn red, it's not valid.
And this is what the government purchased, pinabili.
That's the one he's using, but before you can see him, you have to prick.
Yeah.
That's exactly the same brand.
Ito yung Korean.
This is China, but US trademark.
Ayun naman, natin siya.
I can see the line of the G eh. It's formal na. Oh, it's formal.
Yeah.
Parang mas makapal.
May damuhin na.
Buntis!
Buntis meron, pero nagkakaroon.
Lalaki.
Ito yung G, may line na.
Oh, it's coming out na. Galing, no? Yeah, you can... Oh, yeah, no, may line. It's coming out. You film it gradually. Galing. You're okay ka na. Oh, you really got it, see?
We really got it.
You really got it. She's a super spreader pala.
She was right beside in ganyan. Ganyan pa kami. Then, ganyan pa kami dalawa.
It's getting brighter. It's getting darker. It takes a while to get dark.
Ayan, may band na yung G niya.
Oo nga. So, G.
Ano yung nandun sa dulo?
Control.
That has to turn what color?
Yeah, it's red.
Should turn red.
It's turning red na, huh?
Ayun, it's turning red.
So that means...
Pag hindi siya nag-turn red,
it's
hindi valid.
valid.
Repeat the exam.
Yeah, if it's not doesn't turn red, it's invalid.
What if I have M?
There's still the active.
bago pa
So,
na.
ganito. The PCP said, this is the gray area. PCP says, if you have, kahit you have M, as long as you have G,
You're
okay na. Now you can really go out, free to work. Sabi naman ng Ayala. Okay, now we're going to talk about how to interpret the various results that you can get from your rapid test kit. Huh? Okay, number 1. We see here a kit that's positive for IgM. Of course, if your test is valid, the C line, the control, will always have to turn red. If it stays blue, it doesn't turn red, then it's invalid. Okay, so these are all valid tests. The red, the C control will always turn red. Now, if the M line turns red, this is IgM. This means you are infected. You have active disease. Whether you have symptoms or not, you have active disease. Okay? Okay. So, if you don't have symptoms, then you don't need to be admitted to a hospital. You can quarantine at home. But if not possible to quarantine at home, wala kang malaking bahay or hindi ka pwedeng maghiwalay sa mga kamag-anak niyo sa bahay, then go to a quarantine center and be quarantined for 2 weeks. Okay? If you're symptomatic, the doctor will assess, is it mild, moderate, or more severe than that. No? Magbibigay kami ng listahan sa inyo ng table of classifications of COVID. No? Asymptomatic, walang symptoms, mild, moderate, severe. Hindi na natin hihintayin na maging severe. Those people belong in a hospital, not in the barangay, not in the rural health unit, not in the community, but in a hospital if they're severe. Or moderate to severe, especially if they have comorbidities. Okay? For those mildly symptomatic without comorbidities, again, they can be quarantined in a quarantine facility or in a house if they can be quarantined properly. Okay? They should also be, if they're symptomatic, they should also be swabbed for PCR. That will show you the virus. For those moderately symptomatic and with diabetes, hypertension, and other risk factors, they should be sent right away to a COVID referral center for proper clinical management and PCR confirmation. Once you've been quarantined for 2 weeks, then you can repeat the test again, 2 to 4 weeks from the time you did the first test, to see if they already developed IgG. Because once they develop IgG and are no longer positive for IgM, then that means they are cured and they have some immunity. So let's go to a person who has IgG positive but IgM negative. Okay? Okay. Those who test negative for IgM, wala nang line sa M, but merong line sa G, positive for IgG, they are presumed to have been infected before but are now recovered, and they can safely live with other people at pwede na silang bumalik sa trabaho nila. Of course, still observing physical distancing, safe physical distancing, but you're free, parang get out of jail card ito, pwede na kayong lumabas at magtrabaho. But always practicing the proper precaution. Okay? So that's IgG. Now what if you're negative for IgM and you're negative for IgG? Ang lumabas lang is the C, the control. That presumes that you have no COVID. Okay? Now, if you have no symptoms, then you can just counsel the patient. If the patient has no symptoms or the person has no symptoms and is negative, just counsel them that, there's possibility that you still might have it, but it's early, wala pang masyadong antibodies, no? You go home, you quarantine, no? If antibody tests are available, you can repeat the test within 5 to 7 days, and if negative, then they are negative and they may go back to work, but of course, with precaution, because these people have never gotten the disease. Wala silang immunity, pwede sila pang mahawa, So just go back, you're not sick, wala kayong sakit, pero wala rin kayong immunity. So just be careful. And if they go back to work, it is suggested that their employer will also give them a space na meron silang distancing from others. Okay? And if you have comorbidities naman, you might have to work from home. Okay. Now, if you're symptomatic, even if you're negative, but you're symptomatic, you have to be swabbed for PCR and sent to the laboratory. And regardless, kahit negative ka, negative yung PCR mo, negative yung IgM, negative yung IgG, pero may symptoms ka consistent with COVID, considered COVID ka. In that case, treat the person the way you would an IgM positive na pinag-usapan na natin at nandito sa mga kodigo ninyo. Okay? Okay. Now, what if you're positive IgG and positive IgM? No? This is a gray area. Some would say magaling na siya. Some would say meron pang konting virus pero pagaling na, developing immunity. So we suggest, if you're not symptomatic, you just quarantine again for 14 days and then repeat the rapid antibody test. And by that time, most likely magiging IgG positive na siya pero wala ng IgM. In that case, they're now free to go, considered healed with immunity. If they're symptomatic, again, regardless of what you find in the rapid antibody testing kit, basta may symptoms, treat as COVID. And treat as you would a COVID patient na nasa kodigo rin ninyo. Okay? So that's a very simple way of interpreting the IgG and IgM of your rapid antibody testing kits. Okay, so those are the various results that you may get with the rapid antibody testing kits. Now, and that's how you also interpret them. Okay, contact tracing should be done for anybody who tests positive for either IgM or IgG. Okay, because these people will have to be tested. Now, physical distancing practices should continue in the barangay. So, contact tracing para sa lahat ng mga taong nakahalubilo, no, dito sa taong positive, whether positive IgG or IgM. Tapos, physical distancing pa rin, no, for at least 6 feet. Even if you test negative, you continue that yet, as long as the quarantine is still in place. Okay? Now, Bakit ginagawa itong rapid antibody testing? Anong advantages nito? Bakit natin gustong gawin ito? No? So what are the advantages of doing the rapid antibody testing? Well, if we are able to do this type of testing and management at the barangay level, we will be able to achieve certain things. Number one, we can lessen the fear, anxiety, and paranoia among our community. Mababawasan ho yung takot at yung parang pangangamba. Meron ba ako? Yung kapitbahay ko ba meron? Kasi hindi natin alam. Diba? Malaking bagay ho yun. We can lessen the burden on households who are caring for COVID suspects. Mababawasan din ho yung burden o yung hirap ng mga bahay o mga household, no, pamilya na nag-aalaga ng taong COVID suspect na hindi naman natin alam. So, ang hirap mag-quarantine, di ba? Especially kung maliliit ang mga bahay. It will also lessen the spread of the disease. Mababawasan ang pagkalat ng sakit. Kung nyari, makita niyong maaga. IgM positive, ay, meron pala to kahit walang sintomas. Kasi marami ho sa atin, sa mga Pilipino, kasi mga bata ng karamihan sa mga Pilipino, marami hong walang sintomas o napakakonti ng sintomas na hindi mo maakalain ng COVID siya. Maaari rin natin mahuli sa mga magitan nitong antibody testing. Help lessen the burden on our hospitals, no? Already bursting in the seams and unable to cope with the volumes of patients, many of whom are just sent home without even being tested. Mababawasan ko yung mga pasyenteng dinadala sa ospital, no? Karamihan sa mga pasyenteng dito, pinapauwi naman kung mild ang symptoms, hindi sila tinatest, no? So, kung magagawa lang yung mga test dito sa community, sa barangay level, hindi na kailangan umabot doon ng pasyente unless talagang malala ang symptoms or moderate na ang mga symptoms. So, isa pa yun, no? Makakakuha tayo ng mas magandang larawan o ideya, no, ng ano ba talaga ang dami ng mga pasyenteng may sakit sa Pilipinas, no? Kasi yung mga nakakaabot sa ospital at tinetest, ito lang ang medyo malala ang sakit. Hindi natin alam. Ang karamihan kasi ng mga tao sa Pilipinas, para tayong China, 80% ng mga tao sa China nagka-COVID, halos walang sintomas, very mild lang. So, hindi na suspect, no? Tapos, makikita rin natin na sino-sino sa atin ang nagka-COVID na, tapos negative na sila sa COVID, at meron na silang IgG, yung immunoglobulin G na tinatawag, na ang ibig sabihin nun, meron na silang medyo may immunity na sila, at pwede na bumalik sa pagtrabaho, pwede na lumabas, no? So, pwede natin i-start ulit yung ating economy. We'll be able to restart the economy with the IgG positives first, no? Now, at itong mga may IgG positive at may mga immunoglobulins na nagpoprotekta sa kanilang katawan, ay pwede rin maging mga blood donors para magbigay ng kanilang antibodies dun sa mga may sakit na COVID para matulungan silang gumaling. So they can be plasma donors, no? Because their plasma is rich in antibodies, so they can screen them for this. So there's a lot of good that can come from antibody testing in the community. So this is a start, and from here, hopefully, we can start removing the total lockdown and just shift to barangay quarantine or community quarantine hanggat unti-unti makabalik tayo sa normal. Hindi mangyayari agad-agad, hindi mangyayari bigla-bigla, but it will happen. We will not go back to normalcy as we knew before immediately. It will be gradual, but it will happen. And we can start this way.